Hello, Night Nation. I'm Trace Trelko, joined by Adam Eaton. Welcome into Sons of UCF Live.
It
Right,
worked.
Adam?
I can't believe it
Live.
worked. Look at this. Wow. 1 week in a row, a new streak begins. It's awesome.
What are you sporting there? Is that gold you're wearing, young man?
So listen, my friend. Yes, this allegedly is gold. It's part of a new Suns clothing package. You have the black variety on, the logo courtesy of our friend.
Aren't you proud of
at
me? I
Knight's Fan
changed
Shop.
up the shirt. I had
You
a
have.
level of
You have.
consistency with that Thursday night shirt for quite a while.
I didn't think you'd like the yellow or the gold, rather. There's only 2 of these made. We call these the Brian W. Peterson Player Edition. Only 2 of these have made. I have one. I'll let you guess who has the other, Trace. I didn't think you'd like the gold variety.
No, and I might have passed on the powder blue variety.
I got to get another powder blue. Yeah, that's fair. It doesn't look good. I'm working on that.
Let me ask you this, because of the technical snafus, a global system shutdown for StreamYard at the exact moment the show goes live. Do I get a PTO day back since I wasn't a part of the planning anyway? Do I get that PTO day back?
I don't know. The live show was scheduled. I logged in. You weren't there. You didn't know it wasn't going to go live. So let me run this up to HR, but I have a feeling they're going to tell you use it or lose it, buddy.
Use it or well, fear not. That summer
I have full faith in you. Don't worry about
it. I have other travels planned. We thought we might be going head to head with UCF baseball tonight, but the game before it, by the way, Michael, Emptiness 4 on Twitter, excellent writer on sonsofUCF.com covering UCF baseball all season long, referred to them as, I believe, in a message to me, the Fighting Trace Trolkos, which I thought was in reference to Texas Tech. It's a little too much, but they lead just in the 6th inning, 8-1 over Cincinnati. So going to be some time before the Knights take the field. That was an 8:30 scheduled start. That's not going to happen. So fear not. We will keep you apprised of that. We're glad that you joined us. We don't often get a chance to talk baseball. But what about that game the other night, though, Adam? They looked like they had that thing in hand. Then they looked like they gave it away, and a heck of a rout.
Yeah, I mean, look, a couple of plays down the stretch there. You'd love to see Mikey Kluska figure out if he wants to go to second or first. Just take the out at first there. Sosnowski came in and threw some just nasty, filthy pitches to get out of jams. Obviously, we know Danny Neary was there. But look, I asked you this on Around the Kingdom. Which sport is more stressful in a late game situation? That baseball game, I mean, had me on the edge of my seat. Like, what's going to happen? There's so much, bringing relievers in, mound visits, guys stepping out of the box. That was some late inning stressor there, but it was good to see UCF pull that one out and obviously get one win. We know they need a couple of wins to solidify their tournament chances. You think that win will help. Obviously, another win tonight would probably cement that. So you're one win away from hopefully maybe cementing a little more offseason for UCF baseball.
And how about head coach Rich Wallace takes the ball off the face? He was.
I got a problem with that.
Steiner during the media interview.
I need somebody to dive in front of the guy. I need someone to get a hand up there. I need
somebody dove out of the way.
I need somebody to get a hand in there, get a clipboard in the way. Like, what are we doing here? I mean, who's the last man on the roster? I need you to take one for the team on this one. I don't need my head coach, although he looks like a badass, by the way, with a shiner. But I don't need my head coach taking one off the eye socket.
Yeah, he was sporting quite the shiner, and he talked about it during that interview with us on Wednesday. When I was thinking about where this baseball tournament is, for so many years, UCF's been going over to Clearwater in the American Athletic Conference Championship. Easy drive, well, for the most part, I-4, that. Not quite so easy, but much closer than Arlington, Texas. And I thought, who do we know that lives anywhere near that? And then, hey,
Jerry Jones.
2 letters, 2 words,
No.
Friend of the program, a big fan of the Knights, and he joins us now live from Arlington at the Big 12 Baseball Championship. Robert, what's going on over there?
Hey, boys, just out here at the baseball stadium in Arlington, Texas, doing my little walk and talk, sporting my fashionable UCF Florida-inspired shirt, and enjoying the game. It's been quite a ride the other day. But I have to tell you, I have to take credit for a couple of things and also come clean on a couple of things. Before the game, I took a selfie with the scoreboard pregame. And during that pregame segment, a certain catcher was on the screen when I took that selfie. And that turned out to be the good luck charm that we needed. And a guy who had, 4 home runs coming into the season, hit 3 in a single game. So I gave him a boost, and I appreciate that. But I also have to take credit for the near collapse at the end, because we got towards the end of the game. I start pulling up my phone. I start looking at the schedule. I start figuring out, okay, when am I going to have to come back next?
Maybe walking and talking is not
maybe
such
he
a
ran
good
onto the
idea.
field, actually. He got tackled.
Robert, you're 1 minute into a live shot.
Oh,
you gotta hang on.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah, can I just, before you finish that story, I just wanted to share with you, you like the shenanigans. Emptiness. Michael offering $100 to your favorite charity if you sprint out onto the field.
Well, unfortunately,
he said he might also pick up your bail money, as that will be
that would have
a subsequent result.
That would have to include bail. So,
So go back to the story there, as the Knights look like they're going to close that one out, and somehow you interfered in that end.
Well, yeah, I mean, already, Neareye had 2 home runs. He came into the season with 4 of them, and I thought, well, my good luck is good enough. So I pulled out my phone. I started looking at the schedule, see when our next game might be, when I was going to have to be here, and then all of a sudden the game gets a little bit tighter. But in the end, it was the picture on the scoreboard, this one, that did the trick. So that's
very good.
And it's a beautiful ballpark. I mean, this place is gorgeous. It's kind of like some of the girls we dated in high school, right? Beautiful on the inside, but a little bit lacking on the outside.
Oh, wow.
But inside, the
Speak
place,
for yourself.
Oh, wow.
The place is absolutely gorgeous. It really is nice. Okay.
There's so many ways. There's so many ways I could go with questions here based on that monologue, Robert.
The other thing that's nice here is if you look up, it's got a retractable roof, which means that if it rains, we're not delayed. And trust me.
Is the roof open?
No, the roof has been closed because there's been a lot of weather in the area. So it's been quite the experience. And I think we're locked in here for a few more years. And I think it's a good thing. It's a good venue. Playing in a major league ballpark, I think it's good for the program. It's good for the exposure.
Oh, there we go again. A little frozen in time.
I'm exhausted watching him walk.
I'm trying to see if he can make it all the way around the stadium during this live shot.
Just about all you can imagine.
Robert, door to door from your house to the stadium, how far are we talking?
In traffic, about 40 minutes.
Not bad at all. Robert, what are the crowds been like? How many Knight fans have you seen out there in Dallas?
Obviously with the tournament being in Arlington, Texas versus Clearwater, the crowds are certainly going to be smaller. Most of the fans, I met about a half a dozen locals here yesterday, or not yesterday, on Tuesday. And then the rest were all players' families, coaches' families. So the crowds are smaller because of that. But you can have your choice of seat. So there's that.
Well, I'll tell you what. If you find some UCF fans, I know with the delay here in this Cincinnati, Texas Tech game, Knights fans are probably, Knights fans, they're probably still hanging out somewhere, enjoying a beverage and a meal before the game.
Wow.
Check back in with us. Let's see if we can go back to you at some point during the game before we sign off.
I will do that for sure. I'll keep you guys posted.
Thanks, Robert.
All right.
Good night.
Thank you, Robert. All right, not too bad on that live shot. Huh? He's a natural with the walk and talk.
No, really good. And it is cool to see them playing in a major league stadium. I think we talked about that on Around the Kingdom also this week. It is cool to see them in a venue they probably otherwise wouldn't play in. The bells, the whistles, obviously Robert showing off the beautiful field there, the world champion Texas Rangers, I might add. So it's cool to see, some of our favorite players playing in a pretty cool major league ballpark.
Well, you talked about the Knights. They get the 6-5 win the other day over Cincinnati, which in a confluence of events then, because of the next result in that game with the Texas Tech win, allowed UCF a very valuable day off, which allowed them to rest. So important in baseball because, once you lose, you got to win so many games in a short period of time. This format of this tournament is a little wacky with a double elimination earlier. Then it rapidly goes to a single elimination. No team could have used a day off more than UCF after having to extend that game into extra innings and throw out a few more arms the other night.
Yeah, I think that, Emptiness Michael in his column just talked about how big that, that day off was. Obviously, UCF had to go to the bullpen a little bit, had to use some arms out of the bullpen. So, get you a little bit of rest there, get the hitters a little bit of rest there. You get the chance to kind of recharge the battery. So, a really good opportunity. And hopefully they took advantage. Hopefully Coach Wallace put a stake on that eye or something. We get the swelling down. But obviously, look, anytime you can get a day off in a tournament like this, the whole schedule with this tournament's wonky. I tried to follow this whole schedule, the whole format. I don't understand it. There's days off, other teams playing this. I mean, it's obviously double elimination. So I know it's a little bit quirky, but I've seen a lot of weird brackets, Trace. This was one where I felt like I needed someone to actually call me and explain it to me.
Well, we had opportunity on Wednesday all week to speak via Zoom with head coach Rich Wallace, and he talked about that win over Cincinnati, rebounding to beat the Bearcats in extras.
To deal with that, to deal with all of that, and to come back and have somebody hit a home run, and they're in the 11th inning, and Kramer come out after sitting there for 4 hours and close that thing out. It was outstanding. I was sitting next to Cedarburg as Danny was up, and I was like, you think Danny could just hit the third one so we can go ahead and win this game? Like jokingly, and he hit it, and I was like, oh, okay. Glad he did.
Glad he did. So understated.
That's good coaching right there, Trace. That is good coaching.
You posted that video, the presser there on the Sons of UCF YouTube channel. I don't know. I didn't go back and watch it, but at the beginning he said, can you see the black eye over the Zoom? Yes, coach. We can clearly see.
I left that. I wasn't sure if that was intended for broadcast, but it was so good that I left that part in. And then I think it was Elo who said, "Are you okay?" Which I thought was a great follow-up question to that.
Well, about 12 minutes into that interview, he goes into rather great detail, I believe it is. I think that's the time frame with the amount of blood that
poor trainer
made it
shoes,
onto the trainer's shoes. So hopefully he's going to be all right there. Of course, star of the game early on, right? Dom Staggs pitching. The pitching looked great. You mentioned the nasty stuff from Sosnowski, but it was catcher Danny Neri who was the star of the show. He talks now about his 3 home run performance against Cincinnati.
I mean, I knew there were 2 outs, and so me, hitting a single probably wasn't going to help us a ton. So I was trying to, hit something for extra bases, but then I got into a 2-strike count. I think I got a couple pitches earlier in the at bat that I could have driven, and I missed them. And then I got into that 2-strike count, and ironically, the last swing, the last home run was the only one where I thought I wasn't going to hit a home run. He went 3-2, fastball up and in, and I just kind of threw my hands at it. And I looked up and I saw the right fielder tracking towards the wall, and I was like, there's no way that's going out. And then it went in the stands. I was just like, oh my God, there's no way that just happened.
No way that just happened. What a dramatic moment. What a career highlight for him. He also talked about how his phone blew up. Obviously, people commenting. He got a little social media bump too from Woj.
Yeah, Adrian Wojnarowski's favorite player. Apparently, they're Danny's dad and Adrian went to school together in Bristol, Connecticut, and they're good friends. So hopefully, Woj will be locked into the game tonight. I know there's an NBA game on now, but maybe Woj will have a split screen, right? A little bit of Celtics Pacers, a little bit of Knights Cowboys on tonight.
Yeah, exciting stuff. And again, the talk was Knights may have been on a bubble with no wins. They needed at least one. They got the one. I know Michael says he's really looking for 2, and They get that day off Wednesday. They get to play Thursday. No matter what happens in the outcome, this is going to be a late one tonight. They'll get another game at least in on Friday. So you feel pretty good. Selection show for the NCAA on Monday at noon, and you feel pretty good about the Knights' chances. Let's talk about the Tuesday game, this tournament, and more with our man on the baseball scene. He is Andrew Cherico. He is back with us on Sons of UCF Live. Andrew, hello.
How's it going? Good to see I'm repping.
Oh, look at you sporting the new shirt too, huh?
UCF merch. Exactly. It's been a long time coming.
Wow.
I'm happy I have it.
Well, that's part of the initiation. Some jobs you get, 90 days trial period. It's longer for Sons of UCF interns. You got to hang around for a couple of sports and then, deemed worthy for a shirt. What was your reaction watching the Tuesday game? It felt pretty in hand early, didn't it? With the way Dom Castellano pitched.
Yeah, I was actually watching the game with my dad in the living room, and it seemed that UCF was coasting pretty well, and especially Danny Neri, his 2 home runs over and over. I'm like, okay, and then Jack Ziska got a deep hit. So then we're like, okay, this game is in control. And actually, it's a very funny story, but it was the bottom of the ninth with Sosnowski still up to pitch, and my TV went out. So I had to go straight to the radio and straight to the stat broadcast to know.
Yeah, you can tell you're part of the Suns family with the outages in technology.
Wow.
But yeah, no, UCF had that game in control. That game was in control. And thankfully for Dan Neri and the clutch bullpen pitching, they were able to pull it out, because that would have been one of the more monumental collapses in UCF baseball history if they lost that in the bottom of the ninth.
Yeah, Neri, maybe not the unlikeliest of heroes, but not a guy you expect to knock it out of the park that many times.
Absolutely. That's probably he's not the worst hitter on the team, not the best hitter. He's in the middle. He's in the middle of the batting order for a reason. But he was locked in. We spoke about it in the presser. He didn't even hit one out the park during batting practice, and then it just magically went out 3 times during the actual game. So he didn't say he felt any more locked in. He just said he went up there, he had a couple pitches to hit, and he let his hands go. And that was the most surprising thing to me, that he even told us when we were when he was going up for his 3rd home run, that he was like, no way, this leaves again when the ball went up in the air. So it was just, I guess that was magical to see. And overall, they got the job done, because it would have been bad if they did it.
And you're obviously a nice win, but late game situation, and UCF's up by a couple of runs and a little bit of defensive error at that point, right? Kind of a mental error, and then some pitching woes. How concerned are you with the fact that UCF kind of coughed up a lead, and some of it was sort of a mental lapse by the defense?
Yeah, I would say one of the most inconsistent things with the team this year was probably the defense as well, along with scoring with runners in scoring position, which they struggled with last game. Even though they had 5 runs going into the ninth, they could have had more. But the defense, it's just one of those things where I guess the pressure got to them. Maybe some plays weren't made. Maybe they felt the collapse happening. Sometimes the momentum becomes inevitable. Like at some point, you're like, okay, Cincinnati was going to break this game open, and they had to find out how to stop it. And that was just one of like little things that if you get it right, it stops the bleeding. But if you get it wrong, it just allows the floodgates to open. Pretty much, I think the team is, I would say they're confident going into this game. I mean, they got the first one out the way. I would say overall, the defense, I think, has been solid, like a little bit inconsistent, but that's been majority of the issue with the team this year, is just inconsistencies like that. But otherwise, I think they'll be fine.
Well, obviously, going from bad to good, UCF comes back and wins the game late. Is this something you've seen in the team all year? Kind of a fight, a sort of a grittiness to say they're gonna hang in there. And obviously, their backs were against the wall. Cincinnati clearly had some momentum. Were you surprised to see UCF kind of come out and respond like that? Obviously, individual effort by Danny Neri, but were you surprised to see UCF kind of come out and respond that quickly?
I would say I'm not surprised that they responded, but I'm surprised at the time that they did. For the main reason why, like during the season, they would give up a couple runs in an inning, 3 or 4 runs, and they would come back out over the next 2 innings and get it right back. But in a game as big as the first round of the Big 12 tournament against a conference rival that we've had for a while, I mean, I wasn't sure if the comeback was going to happen. I felt like once they gave up that lead, it was over. Personally, from my experience, I was just like, yeah, this game is over. They're going to blow it. And I'm very surprised that they won it, but I'm not surprised that they responded because they responded all year. They responded multiple times. And Coach Wallace always says in the presser, our guys know how to respond. Our guys will always respond. We'll play UCF baseball, and we'll get back out there and we'll get our runs. In terms of the pitching has been such a positive to end the year. They have let up as minimum damage as possible in these later innings. So that definitely helps out the batters.
Coach Wallace has said that all these Big 12 series have been like super regionals every weekend. And obviously all these teams are playing each other, but you can tell the quality of baseball so far throughout this tournament. The Knights have been battle tested to get to this point, a high RPI throughout the season. They've played in big games, and at least in Tuesday's game, they certainly responded to the challenge.
Absolutely. They did. They've played big teams all year. That's what the Big 12 is. The Big 12 is elite competition as best as you're going to get. And they, like you just said, they've been battle tested. There's not much more to say on that. They have played the gauntlet of teams that they've played during the regular season. And now you see that all being put together, thankfully at the right time. Now, if we want to rely on one guy to win another game again, that's not likely. They need to put a better team performance up overall. More, I'm talking about the hitting side. But they have played the teams that they needed to during the regular season. Yeah, they've had a really rough stretch in the beginning, but it seemed to work its way out in the end. And outside of even just conference play, they were dominant in non-conference play. So this team is definitely battle tested, and it's been said multiple times that when they're playing their skill of UCF baseball, when they're playing their level of it, they could be any team in the country.
What's your confidence in pitcher Ben Vespi? He is the scheduled starter for Thursday's game against Oklahoma State.
Obviously, he's not Dominic Stagliano, but he is a guy who is going to go in there and get outs. He's going to go in, and the goal I would say is to get 4 to 5 solid innings. Now, the big play in that is the day of rest that they had. Before, they only had a couple available pitchers if they were going to play yesterday. Yesterday, sorry. If they were going to play yesterday. But since they got the day off yesterday and playing today, all those arms back in the bullpen are ready to go. You have Castellano ready to go. You have Sauce if he needs to go out there for another inning. You have Kramer. These are all guys who have been battle tested throughout the regular season and have showed that they can be on the bullpen for any moment, any situation, and they're very versatile. We spoke about it with Coach. The pitchers can go in any situation and help out. So I would say Vespi, he needs to just get a couple outs, play 4 to 5 strong innings, and let the bullpen take over. But I am confident that he could do that.
Andrew, you said obviously we can't rely on one guy to win the game for us, but who are a couple of players that you'd love to see kind of step up tonight and really kind of put the charge for this team?
I would definitely say more of the top of the order. They need to get their bats going a little bit more. Matt Previsk, Lex Bodeker. Those are guys who have been consistently putting up numbers all season. Those are guys who have been getting on base, and you need big-time players in big-time games. And those players are what makes winning plays. So if you can get those guys bats going, you can just get – the main thing is scoring with runners in scoring position. Of course, you had the 3 home runs from Neri, but is it going to translate into every game where you're just scoring off of home runs? That's the situation that the Knights had last year. If they weren't scoring a home run, they weren't scoring at all. But if they can get guys on base and bring them home, like Coach said, they could have had 8 or 9 runs by the time the bottom of the ninth. But they didn't. But it's not saying it wasn't absolutely all the pitching's fault that they lost the hitting. The hitters did get 5 runs, but they could be a lot more insurance runs in between. Exactly what Michael said.
All right, settle.
If you can do that, that's perfect.
I'm with you there. Settle this for me. I contended earlier that somebody has got to dive in front of Coach Wallace so he doesn't take that ball to the eye, Andrew. I feel like it's a failure on the bench coach, on the players there. We got to have somebody get in front of Coach who doesn't take that foul ball to the eye, right?
It's battle scars, Adam. It's battle scars. These guys are proven warriors. I mean, obviously,
you protect the general, though, Andrew. You protect the general. You know what I mean?
But is it the general who allows his men to go in front of him, or the general who leads in front of his men? That's the real thought.
Depends if we win tonight.
He took the hit for the team. He took the hit. Imagine if it was another guy in the bench. It would have been bad.
feel like
There
UCF
you
has
go.
a problem here. Coach Malzahn broke his leg a couple of years ago. Now Coach Wallace with a black eye. I think we need to protect the coaches. Maybe we need to get some sort of
Then
a
you
petition
gotta make
started
a
to protect the
fundraiser
coaches.
petition,
Yeah,
protect the
I guess so.
coaches.
Fear not, Andrew. I would dive and take the hit for you.
Trace has actually
What's
done
your
it
favorite
once.
memory? Huh?
I said you've done it once. We were at the football practice. KJ launched one, and you like did like almost like a diving Odell catch to protect it from my face. It's a true story, by
Was
the
this
way.
is this true?
Nobody
This is true?
It's a true. Nobody questioned it. It was just me and Trace on the field.
Yeah, I don't like to talk about these heroic moments. I just like to be understated. Andrew, what's your favorite memory of this first baseball season covering it for the Sons of UCF?
Oh, I mean, the answer that Trace wants me to have is all the fun talks we have in between innings and laughing. But it is up there. It is up there. I'd say watching the team grow, being able to cover the team in the first season of Big 12 is historical. It's the beginning of a new era. Rich Wallace has done a great job with getting what he has had last year and making a team out of it that's in the second round of the Big 12 tournament. I wouldn't say I have any specific memories, if that's what you were looking for. I would say one of the first games, it was hit by pitch walk-off. I was there and I recorded that. And that was pretty fun. All the tight ninth inning games, it was always fun to watch. Although it might not be fun for everybody to watch the Cardiac Nights, but as a reporter, you like a little bit of action here and there. So those are some of the funner moments. But overall, just watching the team grow in the Big 12.
What do you like about the Rich Wallace coached style of play? He in his first season as head coach of the Knights.
He's very gritty. He's very he's going to grit and grind his way to a win, and his team has proved that for him. There have been multiple occasions where the team was down in the bottom of the sixth, bottom of the seventh, and they've came back and they've won those games. Previous UCF teams would have laid down. Oh, we're not hitting any home runs. Let's give up. No, this team has fought its way. This team's bullpen is like it's such an understatement when a guy comes in from the bullpen and gives up one run, because that one run could be the run that you got next inning. You're just down again. Those are the insurance runs, and they're not letting that happen. They're putting these teams in prime situations to win these games, and like all the hard work has shown off this season in Cincinnati's game.
Andrew, finish your sentence for me. UCF wins tonight if blank.
Did it cut out?
It cut out.
No,
So it was a great answer.
If Danny Lear hits 3 more home runs.
Whoa.
No pressure.
Honestly, no. I would say they need to score at least 5 again. And I would say Vespi has to give a solid 4, maybe only give up 2.
How are you feeling about UCF's chances of making it to the sort of the NCAA tournament? Our friend Michael Emptiness said he'd really love 2 wins. Some people think with 1 win, UCF might be into the postseason here. What's your confidence level right now of UCF as an NCAA tournament team as it stands right now today?
Yeah, and speaking about this is crazy. If we spoke about this team in the beginning of the season, if we were even having this conversation, fans would have thought we were nuts. But the fact that I'm going to say that with Cincinnati's win, I think there's a 75% chance they get in. And if they win against Oklahoma State, it's a 100% chance that they get in.
Well, let's shift gears just a little bit. You covered men's basketball this season as well for the Sons of UCF. A lot of roster turnover. What's your quick read of what you see the Knights and Johnny Dawkins have put together going into this next season? They're second in the Big 12.
They're building a fast, athletic team. And, yeah, you can say that about last season. But they're bringing in higher level guys. They're bringing in guys who have proven, like, top scorers from previous teams. These guys are fast. A lot of guards. I'm interested in the guard play because if you really look at last season, it was Darius Johnson, Jalen Sellers, and Nils that were playing majority of the guard minutes. And that was pretty much it. So I'm interested in seeing all the guards that they're bringing in with the lineups they're going to have, the defensive matchups with Mikey Williams if he signs, if Darius Johnson with Jalen Sellers, all these guys are going to be transferable. The one spot that I was looking forward to seeing more was center, and we just recently brought one in. But he's a big guy too, he's 7 foot, and they're bringing in Johnny's building. I would say like a system of fast, athletic players. I feel like that's his style. He likes guys. He has his brand of basketball where defense will win him games. No matter the team you're going to give him, he will make sure their number one emphasis is defense. And if you're going to
on paper,
yes.
On paper, is this a better team than what we saw a year ago? On paper, at this point in the year,
I would say yes. I would say I think Jalen Sellers is going to take a step back up in shooting. If I'm not mistaken, he shot 29% from the three last season. When he was in Ball State the season before he transferred, he shot 45%. So I can see him transferring back into around the 35% range. Not too high with jump, not too low, but his three-point shooting will be better because there's going to be a lot more ball handlers on the team. I'll say Mikey, Darius, and all these guys come. He's going to have the ball less in his hands, meaning he's going to have more time to get open, more time to catch and shoot, which will help him out. I just think there's going to be a lot more opportunities offensively as well as maintaining the same defensive skill level.
Oh, we're good. My side. Okay. So Andrew, obviously, basketball is making some moves. Football, obviously, it has gotten some attention lately. A lot of folks saying that this is the best transfer class, perhaps in the Big 12, maybe in the nation. Obviously, UCF has a really good recruiting class. What are your expectations as they stand right now, May 23rd, and still a lot can change as you look at the football roster? What are your expectations for this UCF football team coming into the fall?
Put it in 2 words, and it's Big 12 championship. You don't make all these moves to be. You don't make all these. 2 words, 2 numbers.
I think Big 12 champions might be 3. I'll give it to you though. I was terrible.
3 words. When I think of Big 12, I think the Big and the 12 together. All right. But I don't think you make all these moves with the intention of just being a middle tier team. You don't make these moves to be an average roster. Gus has possibly, like you said, put up one of the best transfers class in the country. On3 Sports is talking about it. Rivals is talking about it. This is one of the better classes that UCF has ever had, if not the best. They're running. I think UCF's running game, not enough people are talking about it this season. I mean, they know they're a run-dominant team, but with the additions they've made in KJ and Penny Boone, I think that's his name, right?
Yep.
They're going to be such dominant runners this season, and that especially still keeping Johnny Richardson on the team. Miles Montgomery, that running back room is solid. You're going to see a lot of two running back sets. You're still going to get your deep passes. That's why they got these guys. But the team's running is going to be so dominant that teams are going to have to overcommit on the run to open up the passes for KJ. But otherwise, the defensive transfers, all the experience, I see the system that they're not building from guys coming in from high school. They're building from guys who have had 1 to 2 years at the college level and are allowing them to get a position to win. So if they're able to put it together, this team can absolutely win a Big 12 championship because this team was not made to be ranked number 5, number 6 in the Big 12.
All right, Andrew, last one for you. The guest that preceded you, Robert, did us a solid, and he tested out the Knight's dog. That's with a bunch of W's in there. I need your ruling. Would you eat this hot dog? A Texas chili foot-long hot dog piled with warm sliced ham, juicy pulled pork, melted Swiss cheese, and topped with spicy mayo. Is that something Andrew Cherico would eat?
I saw around the kingdom, and I heard Elo's answer. I was like, would I eat it? Would I eat that hot dog? You know what? I think I would. It sounds very intriguing.
Okay.
Intriguing. I'm a big spicy mayo connoisseur. When I go to some places, I always ask for spicy mayo. I enjoy spicy mayo. Chipotle Southwest sauce is pretty good too.
We should have transcripts available of this show because spicy mayo connoisseur is not a phrase.
I didn't have that. I didn't have that.
I like the spice. I go to different restaurants and actually they have different versions of spicy mayo. No, actually, I'm not. It doesn't sound that bad. It just sounds like, I would definitely 100% eat it if there wasn't a hot dog there. But Like
You want your spicy mayo on just a bun?
No, with the sliced ham, the cheese. That sounds like a good sandwich. But you just throw
That's
a
one
hot
less
dog in there.
W in the word dog. Then
That's fair. Yeah, a lot of W's.
But
All right,
I
Andrew,
would
we're
give it
gonna
a
let
try.
you.
I mean, I eat random things.
We're going to let you go, but tease to the audience, we're going to tell you, you're not going to see the last of Andrew this summer. We have
No.
more surprises in store with Andrew Cherico for you this summer. That's all we're going to say, Andrew. Enjoy the game. I'm sure we will text back and forth throughout. It's going to be a late night watching the Knights take on Oklahoma State in the Big 12 championship out in Arlington. Thank you very much, Mr. Cherico.
Thank you guys for having me on,
Thanks,
and
Andrew.
hopefully it's all positive reactions after tonight.
Not if that hot dog's involved. It's not.
What's your answer on this? Would you?
No.
Are you? First of all, are you a spicy mayo connoisseur?
Can't say that I am. No, can't say. So here's the thing: when I looked at it on paper, I said to myself, maybe. But then I watched this video, Trace. I don't know if you're ready to throw this video now, because I can throw it to it here.
It is time.
Let's throw this video. Our friend Robert, who you saw earlier, actually tried this hot dog. And so I was in on it until I saw this video, and
Now you're out.
I just, yeah.
Hey, boys, 2 letters, 2 words here from Arlington, Texas, at the Big 12 baseball tournament. And, well, I just wanted to give you a review of the night hot dog at the request of Michael, or Emptiness. And it is objectively terrible. It is a combination of multiple institutional foods combined together. The hot dog itself is overly large and seemed to be a little bit undercooked. I guess it was kind of a play on trying to do a Cuban and a hot dog sandwich all together. It doesn't work in any form. I took a few bites and regretted it instantly. I took the hot dog out and tried to eat it just as a Cuban, and that didn't work either. It's terrible. Anyway, I got it. Supported the tournament. Here to watch the game, and hopefully the Knights are better than the hot dog Knights. Go Knights.
I did not.
That picture of the hot
scathing
dog,
review,
which I'm not sure it was cooked. It did not look as if it's seen a grill, any sort of it. I don't even really. God bless Robert. Luckily, he survived. Although that off day maybe helped Robert more than UCF. I'm not gonna lie to you. He might have needed that off day more than the UCF pitching staff did. I don't know.
At blackgold_ed asking for our thumbs up or thumbs down. I was interested that I'd try it, but now after having seen it,
big thumbs down. Actually, I'm gonna do something different. So Robert's here. I've been watching him walk the stadium. I think he got 10,000 steps in. I'm gonna go to the Around the Kingdom layout here. So you guys can just watch Robert in the corner as he peruses the stadium here. You can enjoy what I've enjoyed watching Robert just walk around the stadium there. Luckily, and maybe he's walking off that hot dog because it looked like it was the grossest thing I've ever seen in my life.
He should have tried whatever the hot dog is for Oklahoma State tonight and reported on that. Robert, if you hear that, let us know at least what's on the Oklahoma State hot dog.
He's saying no. He's no.
That's a big no. That's a big no. Very unexpected review. I've changed my mind. I think he's right. Is that the food you most associate then with Florida Cuban sandwich, Orlando? I think that Orlando is still striving to find a signature dish that you associate with it.
I think once you get to like Sunrise, like the Cuban sandwich is done. I think that's a Sunrise and South situation there in Miami, Fort Lauderdale. La Jarreta. I mean, great sandwich. But I think once you get past Sunrise, you're done with the Cuban. I think that's where the line ends. Post that, I don't know why I need sliced ham, juicy pulled pork,
warm.
Sliced ham. I'm sorry, piled high with juicy pulled pork. So, Yeah, and so look, even Mr. Spicy Mayo has had enough of this. He's out. Mr. Spicy Mayo he's already out. He's already
And
out.
by the way, the thing's not $3. It's like 16 something.
16 bucks. Yeah. 16
yeah,
bucks.
it's a little pricey for that hot dog. All right, let's keep baseball theme going, but weave in a little bit of football during this hour. Head coach Gus Malzahn, he needed to see some baseball, needed to go to St. Petersburg, threw out the first pitch before the Rays game on Wednesday night. How do you grade Mr. Malzahn's first pitch? Makes it over the plate, right? Do you have the video you can show us?
Do. Solid pitch. You've seen a lot of these go awry. 50 Cent threw it into the crowd. Somebody threw it at the photographer's private area. You've seen a lot of these go awry. I think if that's the sliding scale, I think Coach Malzahn here with a winner. I think he caught the corner. I think
would you call that a sidearm? What would you call the motion?
A little bit of a 3/4. I think he caught the corner though, Trace. I think he caught the corner. I think that may be in strike one. I don't know. Chad Mottola, though, by the way, catching that first pitch, I believe, former UCF baseball great, who we talked about with Jay Bergman, by the way, still available on your YouTube feeds if you want to get to the Sons of UCF. But I think he caught the corner, Trace. Strike one.
I would say that was pretty good from Coach Malzahn.
I also feel like JP Gilbert will use that video at some point during the football season.
There's also an image with Gus and the Rally Cat mascot that I shared with JP in case he wants to trot that out. Well, not that we're going to get to talk to Gus. He did his car wash for the TV stations in the Orlando market today, but I would like to know if he put in any practice before that pitch, or that was just cold. What do you think? Do you think he did anything in prep, or is just a natural athlete, that Gus Malzahn?
I mean, he's got a good golf swing, and we've seen that, Trace. He seems like he's got a little bit of athleticism still hanging around, but I got to imagine in the tunnel he was throwing some more up tosses. You got to get the arm loose a little bit. So I'm not saying he got a full bullpen session in, but I imagine he got a couple of warm tosses in.
How do you think you do? Have you ever had an opportunity, work related, otherwise, to throw out a first pitch?
Never thrown a first pitch. Not a baseball player by trade. I feel like I could get one though. All right, but here's the thing. I'll give Gus credit. He went to the rubber, right? A lot of people go in front of the mound. Gus went to the top of the mound. That's what 60 feet 6 inches. That's a decent sized throw. I'd like to think I could toe the rubber and get you one in between the pipes there, but I have no evidence to prove that's possible.
Knights announcing, Fox really, Big 12 announcing Black Friday, Utah UCF, November 29th, airing nationally on Fox. Looks like the league and the network feel like this game could be pretty important, an interesting matchup. I'm looking forward to that. You got to think that atmosphere. Now, students are out, but the Knights announced that change in their ticket package where you can buy anywhere seats if they're available.
Robert's got a friend. I don't know who that is. I can't really say. Robert's got a friend.
Is that opportunity to go? Is he calling us to go back to him?
I don't know. I can do whatever Robert wants.
Let's Robert with a thumbs up. Robert, let's go back to you. Who you got with you?
Hey guys, I got Mr. Spraden here, Jeremy, the director of sports performance here with the UCF and the baseball team. So, what questions you got? I can give it to him.
Well, what was his reaction to Danny Neary and 3 home runs the other night?
Yeah, what got into the catcher, Neary? Okay, are you responsible for the 3 home runs?
I would like to take some credit for it, but his years at Notre Dame, he came to us as a well-oiled machine. So can't take all the credit, but I saw the kid early in the pregame and the way he was locked in at batting practice. Coach Lopez even noted it, and we were expecting something big, but not that big. I had a think going into the game.
What are we expecting tonight?
I hope Ben Vespi shows us something. He's been able to give us a lot of innings, been a rock for us every Friday night. So love to see him come in and keep that domination going and save some of our bullpen arms. So we got some work to do tomorrow.
Okay, so in terms of just pure strength,
yes.
Who's the strongest player on the team?
In terms of pure strength, Wiley Hartley is a transfer for Campbell, but he had some back. He was a two-way football, baseball at Campbell, so a lot of those football lifts kind of took control. And when he got in the weight room, watched him blossom real well.
Robert, can we get an update on Coach Wallace's eye?
Yes, we're looking for an update on Coach Wallace's eye.
He's doing just fine. He hasn't put any contacts in, but he's got his glasses on. He's seeing well, and a day off gave him quite the rest he needed to. So he's fully focused and ready to go today.
You know, I feel like I missed the opportunity. I should have showed with a black eye makeup on tonight. Just kind of a sympathy thing.
Consider that a coaching, Robert. Ask him, as a finely tuned athletic trainer, if somebody ate that hot dog you ate, what would he tell them?
Have you seen the hot dog that they're selling here with the UCF team?
I mean, I've heard of the Knights dog. The players all want one. I told them they got to win it to get it, but I haven't seen what.
Okay, here's the thing. I did a review of the hot dog.
Okay.
I will tell you that it is not a reward. Okay. So if they win, they get one.
Okay.
If they lose, they get 3 of them. So, you know.
Well, let's hope they just get one then, and we'll go with that. You know, especially on from the sports medicine side.
We get the win tonight. I'm buying hot dogs for the entire team.
Well, I hope they don't hear that because they expect it. I'll tell you that.
We'll make it happen. Anything else, guys?
No, that's good. Thank you, Robert. See who else you could find before we end the show. We appreciate you guys.
Good to see you.
I will. Thank you so much.
Robert's demoted to the small screen.
Back to the small screen.
Back to the small screen, Robert. Sorry, buddy.
Back on Utah and UCF. This statement, it sounds so strange. Who would have thought we'd be talking about that as a Black Friday showdown? I know students are out of town, but I got to feel like that crowd will be raucous, and maybe that'll be a game that means something there at the end of the season for the Knights.
I mean, that's the hope, right? I mean, obviously, you know, we talked about with Andrew, UCF football has certainly put themselves in a position where people think on paper they have a really good opportunity. Utah obviously is a team that has had a couple of years of success here. So at least Fox is thinking this has the opportunity to be a spotlight game, 8 p.m. prime time. I think it's a good atmosphere, Trace. I mean, typically we get the 12 o'clock kickoff, the 3 o'clock kickoff. I think Knights in the bounce house at night, lights up, lights down. I think this one, if both teams are in the mix still, I think this could be a really good, Cincinnati-esque style crowd that you might see there on Black Friday.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. When you're in May and you got to take everything you can get to talk about UCF football, still a couple of months away from preseason camp. I asked so far this year, I've been asking about, are you satisfied with quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers? I asked about tight ends. And the margins are always the same. It's about 83% to 70% that fans are satisfied. Now I'll ask about the O-line next week, replacing Alec Collar here at this tight end position. I think you like what you see from Randy Pittman Jr. Where do you vote? You vote yes, and you like what you see from the tight end room, as fans seem to.
Yeah, I think Randy Pittman is probably poised for a breakout season. We saw some of the flashes last year. He flashed pretty well in the spring game. So I think he's poised for a breakout season. I like the addition of Evan Morris, the kid from Michigan State. Obviously, Gus wants to do a lot of blocking, in some of his run schemes. So the thinking is Evan Morris obviously has maybe the ability to be that blocking tight end. Randy Pittman is that threat to catch balls over the middle. Kylan Fox, who came in, I think they've moved into receiver. Do they ever move him back to tight end as well? He's obviously got some athleticism. So it's a younger group. I think Evan Morris really helps that out. Jordan Davis, we forget about him. He's been injured a bunch. Gabe Davis, his younger brother, but he's got a ton of experience as well. A kid like Grant Stevens, who was also injured but has some flashes. So I think you've got some young, raw talent there, and especially in the pass game, I think you've got some options. I think really is Evan Morris going to be able to sort of be that stalwart, that Zach Marsh-Wojan of the running game that we've seen in the past. I think that'll kind of predicate on the tight end this year. But a lot of young talent, a lot of reasons to be excited about the tight end room.
What's your prediction when I post the poll next week on the offensive line? Will there be satisfaction?
Give me 57 yes, 43 no.
So I drop from about the 83, 82, 84.
Yeah, because I just don't think we know what we have there, right? I think you have some individual pieces, but a collective 5-person unit hasn't really been together for UCF. And obviously there's some competition in other spots. Some transfers came in. So I think you just don't know what you have. And if you're, we've talked about this all year. I think I saw this on social media. The only thing that can stop this UCF running game may be UCF offensive line. So I think that's going to be a question mark. And, I think a lot of folks should have confidence in Coach Herb Hand to be able to put a unit together and figure that piece out. But I think there's a lot of parts that are unknown. So I wouldn't be surprised if fans are a bit skeptical yet at the O-line.
Clay dropped it. You flashed it earlier. ESPN now reporting NCAA Power 5 agreed a deal that will let schools pay players. We touched a little bit on it on this week's Around the Kingdom, but in that format, we don't often get to hear from you except during the silliness and at the end of the show. What's your reaction to this? It's not the NCAA that we knew and have grown up with.
Yeah, it's a new day in college athletics, right? And I think this is what's interesting. I think at the macro level, you look at this and say, "Oh, well, we're going to pay people. We have all this money." But how does that work? I don't think you've seen the details on how that disperses down to schools, programs, individual sports at schools. What are conferences on the hook for? What are schools on the hook for? What about past players? What about future players? And so the splashy headline is great, and the NCAA agrees to X, and conference are playing X. It's great, and that's what people do in the media. But I think you need to see the details and how this breaks down and what this really means for schools. I think the macro level, sure, all right, fine, we're gonna do some stuff here, but you think about a school like a UCF. I saw some article that said some schools are going to have to find $20 million plus in their budget to fund some of this, right? UCF doesn't have that right now. We're not a school. We're not an institution that's got money laying around. So what is this really going to mean for schools? I think is what I want to see. Right now, you're just seeing the top line of the PowerPoint presentation, but I think you need to see the bullets to understand what this really means. But to borrow a phrase from I don't even know when, this is not your granddaddy's NCAA anymore.
No, it is not. It's certainly a new age for college football. We've heard that phrase a great deal, and it certainly means something different now. All right, some news and notes before we get to the mail.
This is Michael, otherwise known as Emptiness on Twitter. You're watching the Sons of UCF. Let's go around the kingdom.
Michael, excellent work. He's flipping these articles quicker too, by the way.
It really is. Yeah.
Prepare the summary and the preview, but bang to bang in the game.
Yeah, shout out to Michael. I mean, if you haven't read some of these, I mean, he goes in detail on the other team, lineups. I mean, we're talking like 6-7 paragraphs worth of stuff on the other team. Plus, he used the word harbinger the other day, which I thought was fantastic.
Softball, we put a bow on the season. Knights fell to Auburn 2-1 in extra innings, an epic marathon between those two teams and their pitchers into the wee hours of the morning, about 3 a.m. Eastern time before that one wrapped up. Knights out of the NCAA tournament. It was the Milwaukee Bucks star. What's his name? What's the Milwaukee Bucks star? His name
Giannis Antetokounmpo?
Giannis, yes. Was asked a year ago when they bowed out of the playoffs whether it was a successful season. And he said, well, you can't judge it on whether you win at all. Right? How do you evaluate? Do you judge it as a successful season for the Knights? Projected fifth, finished fifth in a league with Oklahoma, Texas, Oklahoma State. They make the NCAA tournament. Competitive 12 one-run losses for the Knights this season, and some stars that we saw end their careers in a UCF uniform.
That's a tough one, right? I think about the UCF Mikes of the world who would say if you're not holding the trophy, you didn't get it done. But obviously, this jump in leagues was certainly something I think that all the teams of UCF this year had to face the challenge of. But if I told you, Tracy, UCF went 12-15 in their first year in the conference, you probably would have said, it doesn't seem like it's really good, right? So I think there's probably an element of the learning curve. I think you saw that with football this year. I think you saw that with basketball. And I think you're seeing that across the board. I think softball, obviously, was probably the program we thought was most ready to compete. That's probably a little bit of what the disappointment is that we assumed that, the Jada Cody and the Shannon Doherty and, Coach Bob Malone and Sarah Willis, that they would figure this out. But the reality is the competition level, really, really rose. And UCF played well enough, but, a one-run loss, you hate to kind of give out the consolation prize, but I'm not mad at the season. I wish it would have ended differently, but I think you can watch the season and say they played hard, they played well, they proved themselves. Now you're losing a ton of talent. I think that's really the question is how do you reload after losing what Elo told us on the show this week, Trace, are some first ballot Hall of Famers. How do you reload from that? So would I have loved to hold the trophy at the end? Yes. But am I still proud of the season they had and think that they did well and played well for themselves? I do.
Remember, highly touted recruiting class, multiple years for the Knights. So they do have a pipeline of young talent. And of course, UCF will be an attractive destination in the transfer portal with softball. Men's tennis, they had a great season, finished ranked 28th, second highest ranking in program history, and announced Thursday women's golf finishes ranked 29th. So more than respectable showings for men's tennis.
I'm just really glad you didn't ask me to break down men's tennis. I appreciate you not going to me for that.
No, I think that is still one of my favorite segments on the podcast with you and Mike. Was it men's tennis player or racehorse? Was that or jockey or something like
yes,
that?
Yes.
Yeah, something like that. Yes. You mentioned it before. Eric Lopez, the voice of UCF softball, rising star in D1 softball, my co-host on Around the Kingdom. We mix it up every week. You can find that new episode right now on the Sons of UCF YouTube channel. Here's a little clip.
Well, that's the dumb thing from the college football playoff. They should not be playing December 21st. They could have avoided this. And now they've ticked off the NFL. And they're going to get smacked around. And I don't think those games are going to draw very well from a college football playoff, especially the 5 versus 12, where it's going to have a G5 champion there. Come on. Who cares? Give me Patrick Mahomes.
I love Cranky Elo. Nothing better than Cranky Elo.
Cranky Elo. New episode up right now. Wanted to tout our friend Clay Pasco. You've turned the reins over to a lot of the infrastructure within the Sons of UCF universe to young Clay.
Listen, young Clay is a rising star. He's got some really creative ideas. He's doing some great stuff on our Instagram page. I think he's got a TikTok working, although I'm not quite sure I've ever seen that, but I'm sure it's doing well. And
isn't that being run by UCF Mike? Wasn't he the one populating? He did one TikTok video, right?
Did he? Was it one? Feels like too many for Mike. No, Clay is also working on a special project. You talked about this earlier. You may be seeing more of Clay and Andrew here in the coming weeks as well. So, look, one of the funnest things that we get to do, Trace, is we get an opportunity to find other people to work with and other people who share our passion for UCF. And spoiler alert, Clay and Andrew help us skew younger, and they keep us younger with different topics and ideas.
Younger demos.
I'm young.
And
I'm
Robert.
excited.
And Robert. Don't leave Robert out. We skew younger.
Robert,
like
2 letters, 2 words?
Yeah.
He looks younger, though, by the way. He looks fantastic. I need to tell him. I meant to tell him that earlier. So check out Instagram at Sons of UCF. Clay's got reels that are going up. He's got some more content there. He's really talented. He's really passionate about UCF. So give that a follow. Give Clay a follow, and be checking for more Clay and Andrew coming soon.
I'm waiting for the first person to say, I love you on Instagram. And I'm going to be like, yeah, because those are just 20-second video clips. That's why you like them so much. Hey, it is that time again.
Speaking of not skewing younger.
So it's a mailbag. So what?
So what? Do you know whose mailbag that is?
It's that time again. Time to open the Brian W. Peterson Sons of UCF mailbag.
Oh, hell yeah. I think the way those are now edited together makes me uncomfortable now that I've seen this.
Exactly.
Time. I don't think I quite understood the correlation there the first time I saw it.
No, yeah. Sorry, I can't change it.
I might request to change.
Let's see, Robert, do you like that? I need a thumbs up, Robert, if you're good with that video. See, yeah, it's got to stay then. Yeah, we're good.
I used to wear 21. Does UCF have to win the Big 12 tournament to earn a spot in the NCAA baseball tournament? No, I think they're in now, but I have agreed all along with Michael. One more win, 2 in this tournament, but I feel pretty good about where they are. I believe Michael told me today, RPI up to 35. So I don't even think they're going to be one of the last 4 in or 4 out. I think they are in good spot. At Riley Carey 16, this one really for you. You're a golf aficionado. What are your thoughts on Scotty Scheffler's arrest last Friday?
Trace, this thing is going out of control. This is like LeBron James being arrested on his way to Game 2 at the NBA Finals, right? The video that was released today by Louisville PD doesn't show any of the things the officer said. It shows actually a more aggressive officer. The body cam wasn't on there. Scotty Scheffler is referred to as like the nicest person on earth. So this is really one of those like seminal head-scratching moments. But for people who don't watch golf, again, this is LeBron getting arrested on the way to Game 2 of the Finals. That's what this really means. And so I'm very curious to see how this plays out and if they're going to drop these charges or not. But I promise you one thing. I highly doubt the PGA Tour is going back to Valhalla, which is in Kentucky, anytime soon.
Yeah, may have cost themselves some future business with that arrest, high profile at P_Gilly. And now that the portal is closed, any chance you guys can get Johnny Richardson on for an interview? Would love his perspective. That he's not a player that UCF will make available to us in all likelihood during summer, maybe in those preseason camp interviews. But, you know, there's been a lot of rumors that he would enter a portal at some point, and he's hanging out still with the Knights. You got to respect that from him.
Yeah, I mean, look, he brings a great dynamic. We talk about the Baylor game and how poorly it ended. We forget the first play on offense was Johnny taking that thing, 60+ yards to the house for a touchdown. So he's got dynamic playmaking ability. But to your point, Trace, obviously in the summertime, it's tough to get a hold of some of these guys. So trust us, though. If there's somebody out there that played at UCF, we will always effort to get them on the podcast. Big, small, coach, player, staffer, it does not matter. Everyone's eligible for the Sons of UCF.
At UCF_B12. Thoughts on the O-line and linebacker room now? Said differently, will our top-of-the-class offense have time to make plays post-snap and getting on the field? Going to be lingering questions all summer long. Again, I'm going to poll on that O-line question next week. Feel like they added a lot of guys at the linebacker position, though, certainly. They knew that was an area they needed to address.
Yeah, I think Ethan Barr, Deshaun Pace are the names that you're hearing a lot. They're going to be maybe getting the most reps. But again, none of it matters to get on the field. I think they feel good about the talent and the depth and the experience, which I think is the key thing, Trace. They brought in guys who've got experience, at the D1 level. With all due respect to our friends Jason Johnson and Walter Yates, obviously they played at more of a lower level school, bringing a guy like Ethan Barr from Vanderbilt, although it's Vanderbilt, but it is the SEC. And Deshaun Pace playing at Cincinnati. You've got some high level guys who have played big games, big moments. The hope is that they can pick up the scheme from Ted Roof really quickly and come in and make an impact. So I think linebacker I feel better about than O-line. I just need to see this O-line come together. There's 5 of them, only 2 linebackers. I'll take the linebackers just by the math.
Robert, who's hanging out still at the stadium with the question that will wrap things up in the mailbag. Las Vegas Convention.
Baseball looks like there. Yeah. Big 12 baseball.
Is using hotel tax dollars to pay $100,000 to each WNBA Aces player for the next 2 seasons. Should the Kingdom, Terry Majer, be thinking about a way to make something like this happen for UCF athletes? I'm sure that they are. We saw a affirmative response from either SJ Tui or the Kingdom account to Robert's question that there were things in the works. There are a lot of different ways you can use these tourism dollars, and the tourism industry and the state of Florida continues to want to promote and build on its convention center in Orlando. So I don't think that they're going to free up any of those dollars. UCF probably grateful and glad that they got what they got from them in terms of stadium construction and that announcement some weeks back. But creative use of dollars by Las Vegas, certainly.
Yeah, I think any school is going to have to get creative. Now, we'll see what changes with some of the new rulings, Trace. But if you're an NIL collective, if you're a school and you're not trying to find creative ways to stay competitive in the landscape and win in the margins, you're probably fooling yourself. So kudos to to what's happening in Vegas, and maybe UCF finds something similar they can exploit here in Orlando.
Sometimes on my weekly walk and talk, I'm just by myself somewhere. Sometimes I'm in a crowd. I've noticed lately when I'm in a crowd and I say, we'll go around the kingdom, we'll take your questions and we'll find out what's in the box. I get a side eye. Sometimes I get a side eye from people wondering what I mean, but what does it mean?
Well, here's what it means, Trace. Let me just grab this right here real quick here. This is the box, Trace. Charlie Hustle.
All the smooth opens we have, the music.
Promo code.
There's this
10, 12, 15. Get you 15% off your first order.
It's the night hot dog. Is it the night hot dog in there?
It is. I hope not. That would really smell. All right, Trace. Here is the question in the box this week. Oh boy, this thing ripped. Sorry about that.
I'm concerned about the type of questions you ask. You hit me every week with the silly game, and you were very judgmental on my answer to your question this week.
Which one?
During the silly game.
Well, you don't answer the questions. You go, it's interesting. Let me think about it.
I told you I wouldn't mind seeing basketball at Madison Square Garden. You go, they've been there, but I haven't been there.
They have been there. This week's question, Trace: bumblebees, misunderstood and important, or societal menace?
No. Very, very important.
Wow.
Misunderstood for the planet. We need to see more bumblebees, and they're threatened extinction in many parts of the world. It's troublesome for our environment. I've read a lot about the bees.
My goodness, I did not.
I've seen Jerry Seinfeld's The Bee Movie, so I know a great deal about the bees.
Great movie. I'm going to go societal menace, Trace. I don't care who you are, where you're at. If a bumblebee's near you, you're doing this move right here. You're doing this move right here every time.
No, where I swim
welcome the bumblebee, you're like, bumblebee, come to me right here. Land here softly. I doubt that.
No. I see them at the pool. They'll land on my cup or whatever. I just leave them alone. They leave me alone.
Have you ever been stung by
antagonize them.
A bee?
I do not think a wasp at one point, some sort of horse fly or something of that nature. But no, I don't think I've been, and I don't believe I have any sort of allergy or anything. Now this week I'm going to be menaced by no, we need them. We need them. Yeah,
we need a lot of things, Trace. Doesn't mean they're good for you.
No, well, they may not be good if they sting you, but they're good for the
deep cut,
earth.
Dolly. That's a great reference. That's a deep cut reference from the movie My Girl.
I have not seen that movie. Does something troublesome happen to Macaulay Culkin in that movie?
He dies
because of a bee sting.
I can't confirm or deny. I'm with. I don't know who Jay Winfield is. I'm hoping he's right though, or she. Menace. Absolute menace. Menace. So you invite the bee to you. You're like, "Hi, bees, come on." If a bee flew in your house right now and was landing behind you, you're just here, quiet and calm, no issues.
No, the bees. I'm fine with the bees. It's the snakes that are a scourge on society, but that's a completely different. I know we were cut short to no minutes a week ago at this time, and many asked for an extended supersize show. We've gone a few moments over. Let us return to Arlington,
Texas. Before we do that, I have one quick announcement, Trace, if I could. So out of nowhere, our friends at
I forgot all about this.
Twitter account called Dome Headwear reached out to me and they said, "Hey, we wanna give you some gear." So they are going to give us these hats right here. One says this place on it. It's got a nice little charge on in the back, and the one has Dante Blake McKenzie on it here. They're going to give us these hats as a giveaway. So stay tuned to our social media accounts. You too, coming soon, could win either the This Place hat or the Dante Blake McKenzie hat, courtesy of our friends at Dome Headwear. So appreciate everyone at Dome Headwear for sending these out to us unsolicited. So that's awesome. And stay tuned if you want to win a hat. We will help you figure out how to do that.
Am I eligible for that Dante hat?
Well, behind the scenes, Trace. I mean, can I reveal it? Like last night. So for the audience out there, we have an X or a Twitter group chat, and so a little behind baseball here. These two hats here, they sent to me, and I said, "Hey, thanks. I'm going to do these as a giveaway." And they said, "No, keep those. We'll give you 2 more hats for a giveaway." I like this one, so this one's staying here. But I put in the group chat last night. Does anybody want this? Trace, are you in that group chat?
I am. I was otherwise busy. I saw that message posted quite a while.
I didn't see your name on there. I did see Michael Emptiness in there and Dolly in there. So they were in there on that one, Trace. So I'm not saying you didn't have an option to get that Dante McKenzie hat. But if you create a burner account called Bee Lover Trace on Twitter, perhaps you have the opportunity to do that. Who knows?
Oh, goodness. This is the sort of thing that'll take off like Red Raider Trace.
I did not have you being like Andrew is a wild or spicy mustard or whatever he called it, spicy mayo connoisseur. I did not have you as a lover of all bees. So this show.
I'm saying I love them. I just see their importance in our planet. That's all.
I'm wearing a shirt that could attract bees. Apparently, you love bees, and I think what you're trying to do.
You kind of look like a bee.
Back to our friend Robert, who is still sitting by very nicely, very neatly, waiting for whatever this baseball game is at.
No, I just I was actually reflecting on the fact that I have seen Trace get the side eye in other situations, primarily at rental car counters.
Oh, goodness. Here we go.
Well, we know it's not the valet, Robert. He's too big for the valet. I know that. I'm with you there. Robert, what's your take on bees? Are they a misunderstood and important or a societal menace?
I think they are misunderstood and important and a societal menace.
I love the answer. No, that's not wrong. What's the update on the game, Robert? What inning we at here? Any sign of UCF taking the field in the next 13 hours?
Yeah, we're at the bottom of the 8th here. There's let's see right now. There's 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. Cincinnati is at the plate, and they're struggling to try to catch up. It is 10-3 Texas Tech. So Trace Trucco's Red Raiders look like they're going to take this one home. I've seen a few Knights fans trickling in the last few days or last few minutes here, and so I was happy that I could bring you the strength and conditioning coordinator. And I've seen a couple of more black and gold hats walking around. So, all right.
If the Knights obviously will continue into a game Friday, do you have schedule availability to be at all of them? Is that what your plan is, to make all the UCF games?
Yes, I will be here for every game that they have. So, and apparently now I'm on the hook for, I don't know, a couple of $1,000 worth of terrible hot dogs if we win tonight. So,
you need to find a different place to get hot dogs after the game for the team and have them sent to the hotel and skip the marked up ones at the ballpark.
I'm concerned about food poisoning. I'm not going to lie to you. If we have to forfeit tomorrow, Robert, I'm calling you directly if we have to forfeit tomorrow because of this.
All right, maybe I'll buy. We'll do something better if they win the tournament. How about that?
Okay, there we go. I like that a lot.
Robert, we appreciate you being there and popping in throughout the show and giving us a little color from Arlington and the Big 12 championship. This game wrapping up soon, and Knights take the field in just a little while, and you and some others will be there to cheer them on. We thank you.
Thank you, guys. Enjoyed it.
Thanks, Robert. See you.
Thank you. All right, good stuff. You going to be staying up late? You got the earlier wake up call than I.
Yeah, I'm gonna catch a little bit of it here. I need to see what time first pitch is, but yeah, I'm gonna give
If I'm not mistaken, is it not the rule that it's 47 minutes after the conclusion of a game? Is that not how that works?
That's one of the sports. It may be basketball. Something that 47 minutes is important. I don't know which sport it is.
We just know that it's not going to start as soon as this one finishes, especially with this one still going on. The Knights are still a ways away from playing. It would be well past midnight before they conclude. That's for sure. All right. It's been fun. It's been good to go live again.
Oh, wow. We're doing this still, huh? Okay. Well, geez. Guy misses one show, and all of a sudden. I kind of hope he gets stung by a bee. I'm not going to lie to you. I kind of hope he gets stung by a bee. I'm not going to lie to you.
Suddenly we're sponsored by EpiPen. I want to thank Robert, 2 letters, 2 words, for joining us from the ballpark. Andrew Cherico for talking all things UCF with us. And we want to thank you for being with us for this hour plus of Sons of UCF Live 4. Adam Eaton, I'm Trey Strelko. Go Knights, everyone.
Hi, Night Nation. This is Zen, otherwise known as UCF Girl 88. I hope you enjoyed this latest episode of Sons of UCF. I know I did. I always tune in for the news, the gossip, and the shenanigans in general. So thanks for watching. Go Knights, charge on.
What's with this gossip? I know about the shenanigans. Is there a lot of gossip on the show?
What's there gossip? Do we have any gossip?
I don't know where to go doing gossip, but Zen, good people there.
We had a strength coach on. Those are like endangered species.